how do you feel about Cody Rhodes? What, like, when you think about Cody Rhodes, what is the first thing that goes through your mind, okay? What I think is, genuinely speaking, the worst champion we've had in the last 2 years. He's going to walk into WrestleMania 42 as a champion.
Yeah, he is. That's, by the way, we need to start accepting that now. I know people are saying, well, Drew McIntyre, I can't stop thinking about Punk, and I can't stop thinking about Cody, and I can't stop thinking about Randy. Stop. Drew McIntyre's not winning anything. Drew McIntyre, we're good, bro. It's over. You know what I'm saying? Cody's walking into Mania 42 as WWE champion, and there is an outside shot that he walks out of Mania 42 as champion. The reason I say that is because, quite frankly, who's going to take the belt from Cody if it isn't Roman or Lesnar? If it's not Roman or Lesnar, who's taking the belt from Cody at Mania? Like, who is a viable competitor?
I got
when
an
I
idea.
think of Cody, I think of libations.
Well, when you think of that, I think of, so what do you want to talk about? All right, that's what I think about.
And don't forget the, don't forget the Wheatley. So good,
drink it neatly. You know what I'm saying? The only guy that can beat him today, as it stands, is none other than the Ying General. Because Cody Rhodes, I did not forget what you did to me at Crown Jewel 2024. You beat me in the middle of that Ying with a roll-up, and I am back to get back my revenge in the middle of that Ying. No, I'm just joking. That's a great question. If it's not Gunther, hopefully, thank God it's not Gunther. It's not going to be Gunther for sure.
Yeah.
I think the only guy that can do it, I don't know.
Exactly. Dude,
like, I was stalling while I was thinking. I was like, Austin Theory? Hell no. Like, come on. CM Punk maybe?
I don't know, man. I don't like who can actually be believable in that role, because like you mentioned with the lineage of the WWE Championship, we had Brock Lesnar had it. He got beat in epic fashion at Mania 38, so that was that. Then Roman had it for 2 years. Cody then took Undertaker, Cena, you know what I'm saying, all the interferences to beat him. Then we had Cody lose to the greatest of all time. Then John Cena lost to Cody in an epic street fight that was like an hour long after like 8 crossroads. And then Cody still has it. There's no who's gonna be able to take that pressure, bro.
And the thing is, he's held it pretty much exclusively on SmackDown, and it's been Raw for like the last year on Netflix, and obviously Raw is the premier brand. And in that one, let's just call it 2 years flat, okay? By the time WrestleMania 42 rolls around, in that 2 years, what has the WWE done to build up a new? It has to be a heel threat for Cody Rhodes, because that's the way that you have to book it, right? Because look, he defended the title against AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, bro. Come on, bro.
Facts. He's defended the title against literally nobodies, bro.
That's it.
There's no. If you ever want an indicator or an example of the fact that we have no stars left and no one to take mantles and become a main eventer, think about the fact that if you actually have to think about who's going to be the next WWE champion who's believable to take it from Cody that isn't above the age of 40, there's no answers.
There's no
answers. No answers.
And if we have to like reset the filters on that and like pick out the new champion, unfortunately it has to be somebody from 20 years ago. And unfortunately it's got to be once again milking whatever the hell Vince McMahon created, which has to be Randy Orton. Randy Orton has to turn heel, and he has to take the title off of Cody Rhodes. But unfortunately, right, even though Randy is believable to be the guy to take the title off of him, like you said earlier, bro, it took the Avengers to take the title off of Roman. It took everything pretty much to get the title back from Cena. And it's like you almost have to go through a level of scrutiny and continuous defeat while still having the crowd behind you to get the title, that specific title. And even though Randy is that established, it just almost seems like it can't be him because he didn't have that typical finisher story type of road to the WrestleMania. But
he hasn't earned it.
Yeah, we can say that, right? Because that is really what it comes down to. But at the same time, who else but him? He's got the story with Cody. He was his mentor, right? In Evolution, was it called?
Legacy. Yeah, no, it was Legacy. Yeah, Legacy with Ted DiBiase and
Ted DiBiase Jr. and Cody, right? So if it's not Randy, who could it be? And they have been, for better or worse, I'll give them credit. They have been teasing Randy Orton, threading that line of like, oh my God, I'm gonna flip out now and turn heel. with that.
Gosh.
Yeah,
been playing this out for 15
I
years,
agree,
bro.
I agree. But like once it happens, it's gonna be big, right? That punt kick. How long has he been teasing that punt kick? Even in his match against Cody at the King of the Ring, he even tried to punt Cody. What kind of a mentor tries to punt his protege? Like, how can you love Cody if you want to kick his brains into the stances, bro?
It makes no sense. And you know what? Randy Orton has to earn this heel run, bro. That's the bottom line. We can't, because what they're gonna probably do is Randy will just turn heel on a random episode of SmackDown because Cody looked at him the wrong way. If you want to book it like that, I don't even care at this point, because it's not, let's be honest, no heel turn or face turn has made sense in the last 2 years.
None whatsoever.
Nothing makes any sense. You just have stuff like Cjax, for example, was feuding with Lash Legend, who was a face like a month and a half ago on NXT, and now they're best friends in the backstage talking about some clack it. I'm like, bro, what happened? What happened between September and November? I just, nothing makes any sense. And then on top of that, if Randy Orton does turn heel and he does win the championship from Codarius Rodington, where is Cody Rhodes going to go from there? He's going to become irrelevant immediately, and Triple H knows that. Cody cannot stay relevant without the belt. He can't do it. If you think about it, once he lost it this year and he came back to fight Cena and Logan Paul at Money in the Bank and then had the King and the Queen of the Ring show, there was nothing there. There was nothing. Nobody cared about anything Cody. No, we don't care about what he's doing now. You know,
we didn't care about it when he had the title against AJ and Kevin Owens. Exactly. I didn't watch, bro. I swear to God, I did not watch WWE in 2024. I didn't.
Yeah.
No, hold on. Yeah, like after Cody got after he got the title. Hold on a minute. Yeah, after he won the title, I did not care at all. But I also didn't watch WWE after WrestleMania 39, especially after that Raw. Remember what happened?
Yeah.
He comes out, he confronts Roman, right? I'm hyped. Like, Cody, finish the story. Like, I was like, behind it. I wanted to see Cody win that match, right? Because if he lost, that means he's going to win later on. But that is just a 50-50, and that makes the power scaling like corrupted, right? Because if he had beaten Roman right then and there in that night, on that night, that would have kind of deflated Roman a little bit and make him more believable to be beaten, because this damn guy was Undertaker levels of unbeatable, bro. Like, he has like so many layers of defense that was almost impossible to beat him. Like, any match was like, what was it called? Bloodline. No, like all that stuff. It was every single match was a bloodline rules match. It was no DQ. You couldn't beat him clean, right?
You can't. No.
So like, if Cody had beaten him at 39, that would have made him big, and then we could have had like that year go off to be like Roman and like Cody, yada yada yada, and that could have reset the entire WWE. But they didn't. What happens then? Brock Lesnar F5s him on the Raw after, and then he for no reason. We still don't know why. Like 3 years has passed, we still don't know why. And he goes on to have a 4-month feud with Brock, and then he has a 3-month title championship and a tag team championship run with Jey Uso, and then he wins the Rumble again. And then we have the audacity, bro, to boo The Rock for coming back and wanting to have a championship match. What did you do the last 12 months while Cody was there? A tag championship? The Rock has to step aside because Cody wanted to be a tag champion, bro? Really? And then we have the audacity to say, finish your story, Cody. To hell with your story, Cody. Crybaby.
Dude, when The Rock beats him up outside in the rain, and they have the segment end where the show stops and they show like his little video he did on his own Instagram afterwards, and The Rock's like, no, F that, F that. If the show's over, this stops, F that. And he's just
I love him.
That intensity was just, man. That was, bro, The Rock, the final boss, was so peak. And he did WrestleMania 40, bro. And I love Roman Reigns, okay? Roman Reigns, one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers ever. But if it was just him versus Cody, part 2 with Bloodline Rules and just basic interferences, that Mania would not have been half as special as it was with The Rock being involved. It's as simple as that. The Rock built 80% of that Mania by himself. 90%, literally. All Roman, I give Roman this. The promo he cut, the no pop promo on Seth Rollins was massive. That was amazing. And obviously, Cody cut a decent solo promo against The Rock, and that was solid too. But it was really, Roman did 2 or 3 good promos, Cody did 1, and The Rock did like 8. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't close.
Yeah. And look, if, like I said, if you were to just isolate that WrestleMania, right, and take away The Rock, he was never even involved. Look, Cody was going to win back-to-back Rumbles, and he lost his first shot. What does that mean? The next time he's going to win, all right? Exactly. And that is why I don't want to see Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania 42. Because had Cody defeated Roman at 39, like I said, that would have reset power scaling. That would have fixed the entire WWE, S tier ranking position. Because, that's the way that you got to look at it, right? Gunther right now is an A tier wrestler, but he will never be S tier. The only S tier wrestlers are Rock, Cena's gone now, Roman, and Cody,
Exactly.
right? But had Cody defeated Roman would have been A tier. And then Roman can be competitive with Gunther. Roman can be competitive with Orton. Roman can be competitive, yada, 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 yada. And especially now that he doesn't have a bloodline, it could have been the perfect time for him to do that. But no, now.
That would have been good, yeah.
Right now we have to deal with this BS. And that is why going into WrestleMania 42, it doesn't feel right. Because right now, Cody is babyface. At the same time, Roman is babyface. We're going to walk into WrestleMania 42 and simply have that match because we literally, we were thinking about it earlier on, you know what I'm saying? And we couldn't think about who else could it be, right? And that is why they're going to have that rematch because there's nothing else. That is the unfortunate part. 3 years.
I will say this. The fact that we've been having the same rematch for 3 or 4 years now is very sad. It shows you that nothing's changed in the main event scene. However, I have just thought of an idea. The promotional art for Mania 42, we got Lesnar, Punkinator, Codarius, and Romano. 3 of them are faces. Lesnar is probably going to be face at some point next year before he retires. He's not going to retire as a bad guy. That would be stupid. So I think that CM Punk, bro, or Roman Reigns, I think it's gonna happen, bro. You know where I'm going.
Yeah, I'm going. I know
CM
it.
I think CM Punk's turning heel in the next month or two. That's my prediction. I think he's turning heel. Also, Cody Rhodes, just watch out. I think he turns heel, bro, in the next couple months. They have to do it. They're not going to turn Roman back heel. Lesnar's going to eventually have to become face because he retires next August. So, I mean, you have to pick Punk and Cody. They're going to have to turn heel. One of them is turning heel in the next couple months. Just know that. And if they don't, we're in for a really, really bad Mania season. The 4 main eventers are all faces. Are you kidding? That's going to be bad. Wow.
And something tells me we're not even going to get, I think somebody's going to pull out. I think somebody's going to get injured, and then we're going to have one guy less. I don't know who that could be. If it is Roman Reigns, that is catastrophic. So we have to, despite, CM Punk turning heel, that could be great. I think we can talk about that, later on in depth. But right now, let's just talk about, the way it is right now. It's like I said, Cody, Punk, Roman,
Cody Rhodes,
and who else? Yeah, Cody. This is awesome, right? Right? If it's not
actually standing here, grown men are yeeting, bro. That's crazy.
I know, bro. It's like I saw people walking around with yeet shirts. I'm like, bro, your son is supposed to wear that, bro. Not you,
bro. That's what I'm saying, dude. Yeet hasn't been relevant since I was middle school, bro. I don't know why are we yeeting in 2025?
I don't know, bro.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Like you said, Cody, you know what I'm saying? Cody having his championship match eventually at this upcoming Mania and there being no one to take the reins. I do believe if they're going to have CM Punk or Cody Rhodes turn heel, this is going to sound insane, but low key, there is a chance that we're going to see Seth Rollins and CM Punk teaming up in the near future. Because what's likely going to happen is because we have Theory, we got Logan, we got Lesnar, we got Brunson, and we got Braun. Now that you have these 5 here, I think the natural progression is that eventually Seth is going to obviously be pissed off when he returns, and he's going to have to pick between, beating up Braun and beating up Punk. Obviously, because Braun just speared him and, ruined his they're going to say written off due to injury. Obviously, Punk is going to have to be siding with Seth Rollins. So we could probably see Rollins and Punk fighting a meaningless tag match versus Braun and Austin Theory at Elimination Chamber in Chicago.
Look, that's a given. That's a given at this point, right?
Yeah,
it's almost unfortunate where this has become the trend. Whenever there is a new WWE champion, World Heavyweight champion, seemingly not too long after that, you find them in tag matches.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
There's no one-on-one matches to do.
Yeah, literally. And this happened to Seth Rollins as well. He was a World Heavyweight champion. He defends the title in a fatal 4-way, which is a filler match. Whatever, right?
It's a filler match. Filler garbage.
And then the next one is the intergender tag match with AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. It's okay, and then you know what I mean. So that already is 2 months. 2 months passed by, and the only thing meaningful that has happened is just you cashing in. So wow, 2-3 months passed by, nothing happened, and then we wonder why the WWE sucks. Nothing moves forward. Nothing moves forward.
Nothing moves. Nothing changes ever. It's literally, if you go back and you look at January and you go to December where we are right now, right? If you did not watch any episodes of Raw and SmackDown and only saw the PLEs, you will have
Yeah.
missed absolutely nothing. Even if you skip the PLEs, you will have missed nothing because that's how uneventful everything is. Nothing is happening. Nothing is changing. And I would
Yeah.
hope that after a year and a half of this, that Paula Veckington would finally realize this and be like, you know what? I'm going to change this. I'm going to make a good show. But it's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen.
And
it's
that
sad.
is why Cody sucks. Like
He
the
sucks,
idea, and the idea that like when he won the title, like what the hell was he involved in afterwards immediately?
Nothing. Didn't he take Cody won the title, got written off with a Claymore kick to the face. Then after he got written off with that, he comes back, fights Drew twice. Nobody cares. We move on. And he's still feuding with Drew, and it's a feud we know he's gonna win. And I said this last week. This is the same story as Kevin Owens last year, bro. It's the same thing. Kevin Owens got suspended last year for the pile driver for 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Then they rid him off and he came back, whatever. Then he fights Cody at Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre gets suspended this year because he overstayed his welcome or whatever they said. He comes back. They're going to fight at the Rumble or at Saturday Night Main Event or whatever. And Drew McIntyre is going to get pinned in 15 minutes. It's the same storyline. It is some of the worst booking ever. They copy storylines. They mix and match. And you have the mystery person. Oh, I wonder who threw Jade Cargill on that car, man.
Yeah.
I don't know who did it, Cole. Like, come on, bro.
Who is this masked person that came up and like low blowed CM Punk? Oh my, no wait, yeah, like it's Becky Lynch saving Rollins at Clash at Paris.
Trash in Paris.
Trash at Paris. Yeah, you know what I mean? So like, even Cody, when he came back after he lost the title, what did he come back to? A tag match with Jey Uso and Logan Paul.
Yep.
That's what we're doing here.
And then
we're wasting time.
Then after he won the belt, we got another tag match with him and Cena versus Drew and Logan on that episode of SmackDown randomly. It's all tag matches. Yeah. The fact that, dude, I don't understand how people are not seeing what's happening.
I know.
We have no story. All we're getting is tag matches. We have no one to actually take the reins of anything. And I'm thinking about it. This is a scary thing, too, to realize. You know how when Cena was actually like in 2002 when he debuts, it took him like 2 or 3 years to really become a superstar. And then obviously from 2005 and 6 all the way up to when he just retired a few days ago, he has been a megastar. He's transcended the genre, you know what I'm saying? And that's what The Rock did, obviously, we get that. But they had time to wait 2 years for Cena to be built into a huge megastar because you had 50 other stars. Batista, Orton, Lesnar, Kurt Angle, you know what I'm saying? You had Edge. CM Punk was coming in the later 2000s, you know what I'm saying? In the early 2010s, he was getting into his own. You had Undertaker, you had Shawn Michaels, you had Triple Fraud was even, you know what I'm saying, a superstar. You had him as well. You don't have time for that now, bro. Even with Roman being built, they had to wait 4 or 5 years for him to become the tribal chief and actually carry the industry on his back for 5 more years because he is WWE. If Roman Reigns retired tomorrow, no one's watching this product anymore. We're already not watching, a lot of us. And then now Roman's going to be leaving. If he were to leave, it's over. And now you have Cena retires. You don't have another 2 or 3 years of this quality of content to build a new star. No one will be around in 2 or 3 years to see whatever new star that you can build. It's not going to happen, bro. I'm sorry.
And so now we're like, the only thing that's left to think about is, all right, aside from the obvious that it probably is going to be Roman Reigns at Mania, who can we pick to win the Rumble or even the Chamber? To like who can we match up like Cody if it isn't, obviously Roman or Orton? And then we think to ourselves, literally nobody. And now I wonder to myself, has it always been like this in WWE? Like, I've been watching weekly this year in particular. Like, I've been following my entire life, right? But weekly, Monday and Friday, I've only been watching now since it's been on Netflix. And I wonder, has it always been like this? Has it always been predominantly January up until April, right? From the Rumble up until Mania. Like, has it always been only about the road to WrestleMania? I don't think it has been, because most of my favorite things have happened outside of Mania season, like Cena versus Punk. That was Money in the Bank, and then SummerSlam, right?
Yep.
Right.
So was it SummerSlam? Did they go at SummerSlam? I think they did, right? Yeah.
They had a SummerSlam match as well, where Cena pinned him. Cena got pinned, but his foot was under the rope, right?
Yeah, so that's right. I remember that. Wow, dude, they used to be so creative with the way that matches used to finish, man. That was awesome.
And they weren't afraid to have these matches, but not today. It genuinely feels like we have been stalling since WrestleMania 39 onward. Like, look, like I said, after Mania 39, suddenly Cody and Brock are fighting, and then Cody is tag champion. And then, okay, it's time to go back into the Mania season. It's time to build up back to the road to WrestleMania. Oh, look, it's the Royal Rumble. Cody go win it again. he has a road to WrestleMania. He wins the title, and that's WrestleMania 40. And he had a feud with like AJ and Kevin Owens. That's like whatever. Boom.
That's
that
right.
wrapped up the year.
And that's bro. That Kevin Owens feud lasted like 5 months, bro.
I didn't watch it all. I didn't watch one.
And can you even remember any promos from that feud? I can't.
No.
And I watched it every week. That was when I first started making YouTube videos about wrestling. Was literally last summer, and I can't tell you one promo that I actually remember from that time period. I can't even tell you one. Yeah. And it's a 5-month time period, and I can't tell you anything that happened. That's sad.
And now now it feels like we're waiting back for that like Royal Rumble cycle to kick in. And it's like, what the hell are we doing here, bro? Like we could have had anybody else built up by now, and we don't. Gunther, wow, for almost 40 years old, this guy.
And even that's another thing too. Even with Drew and LA Knight, they're both 40 plus. And so even though I like them, I love Drew and I love LA Knight, which LA Knight's career, I mean, we're about a year or so away from him retiring or calling it quits. I don't know how much more of this he can do.
LA
if he doesn't come back, and because my pick to win the Royal Rumble, this is a bold pick and a bold prediction. I'm going with LA Knight. I think LA Knight's going to win the Royal Rumble. I think he should at least, and that's who I'm going with. Even though I know he's not going to, of course. But you know what I'm saying? I think LA Knight, I'm going to go with him to win the Rumble. And once he doesn't win the Rumble, where does he go from there? He's going to be doing another mid-card, no-name match at Mania for the 3rd year straight, bro. It's sad.
Maybe go into the Chamber and then maybe lose that as well, and then finally win the Money in the Bank.
Dude, if he goes to the Chamber and the Rumble and loses both, we're good. It's over. I think it's safe to go ahead and just call it quits. LA Knight's best case scenario next year is winning maybe an Intercontinental Championship and holding it for maybe 2 months before dropping it to like Otis or something. Yeah,
I agree. I genuinely agree. I think also we wasted the opportunity of like putting the Money in the Bank onto LA Knight,
Seth
right?
Rollins?
No, LA Knight should have won that instead of Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Seth Rollins already had the stable, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was already strong. Like, he could have gotten to the world title without it. Yeah, so it's kind of like, I wish he held it, right? Because imagine LA Knight every single week with the briefcase so far. He could have teased it.
Dude, LA Knight with that briefcase would be cinema. Him showing up on random Raws and SmackDowns, bro, just cutting promos on Cody or, who's our CM Punk, whoever the world champion is, you know what I'm saying? Them having to constantly watch their back. It would be so good. If LA Knight's gimmick too was that he has multiple chances to cash in and he's purposely not doing it to get in the head of the competitor. So that way when he finally does it, it's like a really, really good moment that's been built up to. It would be awesome, bro. Awesome moment for LA Knight. But again, they're giving the Money in the Bank to Seth Rollins, who doesn't need it. He has a faction of 3 or 4 people, and somehow he needs to win the Money in the Bank over LA Knight. It's laughable to me.
And
it's hilarious.
Look at how bad of an investment that was. He got injured again, and now we don't have like a Money in the Bank. Could you imagine? Let's say it was Roman Reigns that wins. Let's say Roman wins the Chamber, and then he goes to main event night 2 against Cody. But we know LA Knight is lingering in the background, and he could always cash in. That way, we can have that match with Cody and Roman at Mania. That can have no ending because obviously LA Knight comes in, cashes in, and we can leave that storyline still open. We can come back to that at WrestleMania 43, in Saudi Arabia, and then we can have LA Knight walk out as the world champion. Boom. Cody can take his vacation again. Roman can take his vacation again, because obviously that's what they do, right? They lose a title match, they go on a vacation. Back in the day, they used to chase you into the hospitals. But, that's
exactly.
today.
You could not take a break. I think it was freaking, Maven. It happened to Maven and other wrestlers too. Heck, you had Stone Cold and Booker T, bro, battling in a grocery store. Yep. Now, if you win a championship, you disappear for 3 weeks and no one says anything. No one says anything. I'm surprised that JD McDonald's, which, shout out to JD. Hopefully he gets healthy. I heard he had an injury and stuff. He's going to be out for a while. But, even with JD, bro, him just getting written off and they just say, oh, well, he's injured. He'll be back in a while. Like, bro, back then, this dude, the next week you tune into Raw, you would see a segment of Rey Mysterio showing up to the hospital, beating him and Phineas up in the hospital room, bro.
I wish, bro. I genuinely wish. Man.
We've lost all credibility and we've lost all edge, man. We're gone.
Man, I just wish LA Knight would have had the Money in the Bank. And if he would have walked out WrestleMania, look, he was in his 3rd Money in the Bank, right, this year. So if he would have won it, he finally wins it after 3 times, right? So finally he does it. And then he lost to Roman Reigns in Crown Jewel back in 2022, right? Or 2023, whenever he came back. He lost that, right? He loses to Jacob Fatu. he loses to I think the Gauntlet match with CM Punk and like Braun Breaker to become the #1 contender for SummerSlam. He lost that as well. He lost at Paris, right? But he still has that Money in the Bank. He still didn't cash in, and he waited for the right opportunity, and he gets it done at WrestleMania. And then finally, he can carry the show for as best as he can with the title, and then we can move forward. But like I said, we have pretty much made the WWE Undisputed Championship almost impossible to be attained. Impossible.
Literally impossible. And you know what? I have a question for you, bro. This is a side note question. What do you think is going to happen? Like, let's say, for example, because like, first off, who are the wrestlers that you think can get a actual retirement tour now? Because I think there's only 2 or 3 wrestlers that are currently still here that actually can get a retirement tour. And it will not be as big as Cena's, obviously, because Cena's the biggest wrestler. We get that. But those retirement tours of these specific wrestlers, I think Roman, Orton, and Punk, if they had retirement tours, I feel like they would be big enough deals to the point where their last match in their retirement tour and the stuff leading up the entire year, I feel like could actually be a big deal. Not a Cena big deal, but it would be a big deal. How would you book Roman, or what do you think would happen for Roman Reigns' retirement run? His final year.
Okay, so the way I would book it per se, and let's just say like book it, it's got to be involving The Rock, and it's got to be like establishing something that will still be alive after he, is retired, and that has to be the final bloodline. I believe we have to bring the bloodline back, and it's got to be a mix of the final boss joining powers with the bloodline, but now he's got to be the head of the bloodline, creating the final bloodline. So it's going to be final bloodline versus OG bloodline. The Rock is going to hit up Solo Sikoa. He's going to recruit the MFTs, and he's going to make Solo the World Heavyweight Champion. Roman is going to be the World Heavyweight Champion. And so, there's going to come a point where The Rock is going to be like, look, I want the WWE Championship, so that way I'm the WWE Champion. Solo is the World Heavyweight Champion. We got both tag titles. And then they're going to bring like Ava, right? Like his daughter. Ava's going to be the female champion. And it's going to be like a total dominations type of segment, right? And so it's going to come down to that final match with Roman and Rock for that title. And I think in that final moment, it's gotta be like some bullshit happening. Maybe not. Maybe somebody could come in and cash in, but I don't want to ruin the moment. So maybe let's make it like I don't want to call it a triple threat either. Okay, fuck it. Right? We're gonna have Roman go over on his cousin Rock, and Rock retires on that match, and Roman retires on that match as well. They're both going to retire, but we're only going to know that Roman is going to retire. But after that, we're going to say Rock is going to say I'm done as well, right? But he's still going to be like an on-screen figure. But that'll be officially his final match. That is the way that I would go about it. That will still leave the final bloodline alive, and we could still have like the bloodline civil war and go from there.